New update video. Hello, my YouTubers out there. This is your cameraman, Daniel Drepsky, for this new update video of my VHSs, DVDs, and books I got this past week. And today's date is February 24th, 2023. Yep. And now these are the ones I got this past week from when I was in the thrift store in Shenandoah, in my public library, and the other thrift store at the Casona Mall. Yep. And some of the VHSs I have here, there'll be some for keep for myself and some to sell on eBay. Yep. Let's start with these two award-winning Disney animated 4A classics, the one that started all. Yep. And before we start, here's some little updates this week. They're still having that war in Russia. Yeah. And around here in Pennsylvania, they're going to do a road construction about 5 miles from like Munch Crunch Boulevard all the way up to the hospital at Schuylkill Haven. And also, I might be going to the miniature golf in my public library, the one by my house this week. It's gonna be wonderful. My third time there. We couldn't do it 2 years ago because of the COVID-19. Yep. And the weather out there is kind of cold. Yep. Yesterday was kind of warm, but it might be warm on Sunday. We're almost heading towards the end of February. And I'm doing pretty good with eBay selling and buying items. Let's start with these two award-winning Disney animated classics. The 1940 classic of Pinocchio, and it's part of the Walt Disney's The Classics, the later ones, when it was reissued in the spring of 1993. Originally, Pinocchio came out on video cassette was back in 1985 of the earlier titles of the Walt Disney's The Classics series. I think I have two copies. I think I have one of the copies of Pinocchio. One of the copies with the Black Holder and the other copy without the Black Holder trailer, a 1986 reprint. And this tape was printed on May 12th, 1994. All I know Pinocchio was put back into the vault in 1994 of January. And I think I showed you this copy of Pinocchio in the previous update videos in the Disney box set thing. And here's the one that started it all, the 1937 Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and it's a Masterpiece edition. This is the first title to be released in the Masterpiece series. And one of the memorable songs from the Seven Dwarfs sings, "Hi Ho, Hi Off to Work We Go." Yep. This is still a Disney's masterpiece, and this tape was printed on June 2nd, 1994, and all I know, this Disney tape was released in the video marketing in around the fall of 1994. Here's some booklets about the Disney video purchase. Nightmare Before Christmas is already out. The Disney Adventures Magazine's subscription. And here's the Disney's Masterpiece series with the 3 Caballeros. Yep. Return of Jafar came out in the spring of '94. The last one to be released in the Walt Disney's the classic series was Fox and the Hound in around late winter of '94. Johnny Carson collection. Yeah, it's pretty good. And there's the Pillsbury Doughboy coupons about who's the purchase for this Disney tape. Like your $5 refund. Pretty good. And I'm not going to keep this copy and I'll put it right on eBay. Because pretty soon I'll sell some Disney tapes. Okay, we got plenty of more VHS tapes. Let's start with the, it's spelled IMMEDIATE Family. Stars Rick Lane Close and James Woods. Mary Stunt Madison and Kevin Dillon. Yep. This is an RCA Columbia Pictures VHS released in 1990. This is an ex-rental, and I know I used to have this on VHS when I lived in New York. And I got this probably from PS 177 when I was visiting. This tape was printed on the 17th week of 90. And here's Kevin Costner and Gene Hackman and Sean Young and Will Patton in No Way Out. It was made in 1987, and this is from HBO video release. It's got to be from late 87 to early 88 release. The one that has the previews on there. And this copy is the late 1988 reprint. It was printed on October 28, 1988. And that has a death phone at the end and has no previews on there. I was selling this on eBay. I think I sold you the other copy of No Way Out, the one with the shielded tape. I got it from that place months ago. And here's the bear. It's a pretty good wildest adventure film that was ever made. It was made for Columbia Pictures in 1989. I think it was by TriStar in 1989. It's on VHS from 90 by RCA Columbia Pictures Home Video. I wonder if this tape might have no previews on there. Printed it on the 6th week of 91. That could be like a reprint, or simply a retail copy. We got other VHS tapes. Here's something to add to my Bob Hope VHS collection. It is Bob Hope Entertains of the Troops with Dorothy McGuire. It's spelled G-U-I-R-E. Broadcasted in 1951, one of his early television show specials. This is on VHS in 1986 from the Quidditch Video Group. The same company when I have the Jack Benny program on this from this company. Vertical label. Thanks for the memories. No print date on that. This is a word hard to find. And here's here's the Super Mario Brothers Super Show VHS of the King Koopa in one of his 3 episodes. It's got to be the Vampire Until Ready, Cooperston, and Cooper. Yep. This is only a 45-minute video. Yep. The Mario. Can't wait to see the new Super Mario movie comes out in theaters pretty soon. I went to see the live-action one with Bob Hoskins 30 years ago. That movie stunk. Here's the California Raisins 2. Raisins sold out. And this is on VHS from 1990. Got to be from Maria, spelled M-A-I-E-R. This is got to be made by like the Claymation. I think I rented out one of the California Raisins VHS tape once when I was on Queens Boulevard in late December 2004, when I still got VHS tapes as rentals. But it was still under new management at the time. Printed it on February 6, 1991. And here's a crappy copy of the wonderful video release of Stalker Ace with Burt Reynolds. This got to be a 1984 release. This tape is so damaged. Maybe it's in late 83, probably it's around mid-83. That's rental. I might have to clean that up soon for that. And here's a couple of the VHS blanks. I got TDK blank. And it's a super quality 6-hour tape. This is from 2007. That was a year before they discontinued on the VHS blanks because they stopped making VCRs. I think they still make VCRs, but they discontinued the VCRs years later. And here's a couple of the Maxwell Standard Guide blanks. Yep. It's going to be from, it's going to be from 2003 or something like that. Yep. Show you what this tape looks like. And the other one, yep, Shield. Hold on just a second. Okay, now we got here like some couple of DVDs that start with Sweeney Todd. It's with Angela Lansbury and George Horn, something like that. And this is a demon barber of Fleet Street. This is the live show they did in 1982, and I remember I rented this out on VHS about 2 years ago. That was an RKO home video release. That was a late 80s, early 90s reprint by Turner Home Entertainment. And this DVD of this Broadway live show was from 2004 from Warner Home Video. This is one of the last ones to be released with the Warner Home Video DVD snap cases. Yep, Angela Lansbury, she died 4 months ago. She was a lovely actress. And she did like a couple of Disney films, Bedknobs and Broomsticks, the voice of Mrs. Potts in Beauty and the Beast. And her earliest films in her career that she did for MGM, like Gaslight, Natural Velvet, and the Harvey Girls. God, I like Angela Lansbury. Sweeney and Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street. That was a live Broadway show they did in 1982. This is like, it's almost like the angle of the play of Little Shop of Horrors. Now here's a pretty rare, the Criterion DVD of 3 penny operas, directed by G.W. Pasty, something like that. It was released in 1931, one of the early days of the talkies. And the audio is in German, and this DVD is in the Criterion Collection release in 2007. It has like disc 1 and disc 2, and there's a booklet about like the movie. Maybe it's an Italian cast, a German cast or something. This ain't exactly like an MGM film from the 30s. This is pretty damn good. I got this in the thrift store this past week. And I got some books. I got it from the thrift store or from my public library. Let's start with this rare children's paperback book of Clifford the Big Red Dog Gets a Job. And this paperback book, it was released from Scholastic Books Company. It was published in the year of 1965, made 58 years ago. That's when Clifford the Big Red Dog started in the 60s. Clifford. Yeah, I like the Clifford the Big Red Dog. It's pretty rare. And here's some golden books I got. Here's the Walt Disney's The Flying Car, adapted to the Disney feature film of The Absent-Minded Professor with Fred McMurray. This golden book is pretty rare. Published in 1961. God, I do like Fred McMurray. But he did some Disney films in the past, like The Shaggy Dog, The Absent-Minded Professor, Sequel Summer Flubber, Follow Me Boys, and and Happiest Millionaire, and Charlie and the Angel as his last film in the 70s. And here's a couple of those golden book Disney books, like Surprise for Mickey Mouse, This is published in 1971. And however, this is the, this was 1986 reissue. Called Horse Collars, Huey, Dewey, and Louie, Timothy the Mouse from Dumbo. It's pretty good. And here's another one. Mickey Mouse and the Best Neighbor Contest. This golden book was published in 1977. The year before, when Mickey Mouse turned 50, it was not until 1978. However, this is the late 80s reissue of this golden book. And I got here a couple of those Disney fun-to-read library series, like Volume 2, like Thumper's Little Sister, taken from Bambi. And I know this is from 1986. I showed you that in the past. And here's Mickey, and here's Volume 7 of the series called Mickey Finds a Kitten. That was also from 1986. I think I showed you that in my previous update videos I did in the past. Now up to those new books I just got from my library. It is The Golden Age of Comedy Sound, and this hardcover book, published in the year of 1973. This book is about 50 years old. That was a few years before there were videotapes, like the VHSs and Beta. This is when they started from the talkies era, from the late 20s, early 30s, up slapstick humor from Laurel and Hardy to the Marx Brothers. And speaking about the Marx Brothers, I think I see a Marx Brothers photos from At the Circus, yeah, and Go West. But my favorite Marx Brothers movie I like is two of my favorites, The Duck Soup and Night at the Opera. Here is the photo pictures of Laurel and Hardy from Below Zero, Bratz, and Our Relations. And here's the photo picture of the Keystone Hotel, like the Keystone Cops. Except it doesn't have a jacket that comes with it. There's a photo picture of Walt Disney's animated full length of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. There's the Wrangler of Red Gap. That's the remake later with Bob Hope and Lucille Ball and Fancy Pants. And a W.C. Fields photo. It's got to be taken from, it's a gift or something. But my favorite is the Bank Dick. Here's another W.C. Fields photo. It's taken from, it's got to be from Follow the Boys thing. Yep. Follow the Boys, it's 1944 when he made a brief cameo. Here's some pictures of Bob Hope's movies from Road to Singapore, Son of Paleface, and Road to Hong Kong. Here's some pictures of the MGM musicals like The Seatbelt Girl with Judy Garland and Hedley Lamarr. There's a picture of Abbott and Costello, like from Keepin' Flying. There's a picture of like a Red Skelton movie. I'm not really into like a Red Skelton. There's like Red Skelton in the 1953's The Clown. There's Danny Kaye in The Secret Life of Walter Mitty in 1947. There's like Jack Carson in The Good Humor Man. He was a Warner Brothers star in the 1930s and probably in the 40s. I like him in Mildred Peters and Arsenic and Olay. Even on the Twilight Zone he was on. And he did a couple of films teaming up with Dennis Morgan, like two guys from Texas. Here's another book about films called The American Movies. Hardcover, comes with a jacket. And this was published in the year of 1969, the year when Easy Rider was released in theaters. And Stanley Kubrick's 2001 Space Odyssey. Here's some pictures from the past movies. Then I see like Deanna Durbin and little Shirley Temple. And there's like Eddie Cantor. The first film ever made in CinemaScope was The Robe in 1953. That was in the early 50s era. There's the pictures like Gary Cooper and Barbara Stanwyck in Ball of Fire. Barclays of Broadway with Fred Astaire, Ginger Rogers as their last film they did together. And there's Barefoot in the Park with Robert Redford and Jane Fonda, one of her early films of her career after she did Caparoo. China Seas that's with Clark Gable and Jane Harlow. There's like someone was doing Amos and Andy. The Keeper by the Dozen, known as like Mr. Belvedere, known as like the Clifton Webb's character. Cincinnati Kid with Edward G. Robinson and Steve McQueen. Here's some pictures with Spencer Tracy. Gotta be Follow the Bride with Elizabeth Taylor. Father Goose with Cary Grant and Leslie Caron. And here's the film with Jeanette MacDonald and Firefly with Alan Jones, sadly no Nelson Eddy. Paul Newman and Hopper. There's one of the three girls in the Harvey Girls, with one of them Judy Garland and Virginia O'Brien. There's Jimmy Stewart and Harvey. And there's that movie with John Wayne and Red Buttons with the rhinoceros. It's spelled Hatari. There's Heaven Can't Wait, the movie with Don Amici in 1943. Not Heaven Can't Wait, 1978. Jumping in Nuremberg with Spencer Tracy and the Marini Dietrich. There's Danny Kaye as a boxer and The Kid from Brooklyn, the remake from The Milky Way, that's with Harold Lloyd. There's Key Largo with Humphrey Bogart and Lauren Bacall. There's like the picture of the Magnificent Andersons, directed by Orson Welles, stars with Joseph Cotton. There's another Humphrey Bogart picture with Barry Astor in The Maltese Falcon. There's Rex Harrison and Audrey Hepburn and My Fair Lady. And we got like two Bob Hope photo pictures. One was My Favorite Blonde with Madeline Carroll in 1942. And there's the spy comedy of My Favorite Brunette with Dorothy Lamour in 1947. The same year, he did Rotary with Bing Crosby. My Favorite Wife with Cary Grant and Irene Dunne. There's Disney's Old Yellow with Kevin Cochran. That's co-stars with Tommy Kurt and Dorothy McGuire and Fess Parker. Since I'm really into those Disney movies lately. Philadelphia Story with Jimmy Stewart and Katharine Hepburn and Cary Grant. There's Pillow Talk with Doris Day and Tony Randall. There's the first Pink Panther with Peter Sellers. It looked like The Singing Fool with Al Jolson, one of the early days of the talkies. There's Gene Kelly and Donald O'Connor doing a dancing act in Singing in the Rain. Smiling Through, the original, that's with Norma Shearer, not the Smiling Through with Jeanette MacDonald and Gene Raymond. There's like Thrills of Romance, that's with Van Johnson. We got a picture with Paul Lucas and Katharine Hepburn in The Little Women, 1933. I just saw Paul Lucas in Disney's 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea this week. Cedric March and Dark Angel. Elma Gentry with Shirley Jones and Burt Lancaster. The Miracle Worker, that's with Anne Bancroft and Natalie Wood in The West Side Story. And there's another Jeanette MacDonald photo picture with Clark Gable in San Francisco. There's Giant with Elizabeth Taylor and James Dean. I thought it could be like Rock Hudson. It's a pretty good book. And before we end this update, here's like another book I have. Hold on. It was my closest dang book. And here's David L. Selznick's Hollywood book. Sosnick is the one who brought you Gone with the Wind, and even Alfred Hitchcock's Rebecca. The picture article was taken from one of the old books about the movies. Gone with the Wind, a pretty long movie. I can't sit through that for the past 4 hours. Thankfully, I don't give a damn. This book was published in 1980. Gone with the Wind was only 41 years old at the time. This is about when David O. Sosnick had his studio, yep. And there's a photo picture of the Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer Studios built in 1924. Next year is going to be the first 100th anniversary when Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer was built. There's the Four Feathers. It was made in London Pictures in 1939. Something I used to have on VHS. There's a couple of the Marx Brothers or something. Yep. One of the early Paramount talkies. And the original King Kong, 1933, with the Empire State Building. But my personal favorite out of those 3 movies were Mighty Joe Young in 1949. I think I see Frederick March and Greta Garbo. I'm not a Greta Garbo fan. It's not Jeanette MacDonald, that's for sure. There's the original Star is Born, 1937, with Janet Grandin and Frederick March. Not the Judy Garland one, not the Barbra Streisand one. There's they took years and months to make Gone with the Wind, a $4 million movie project. There's a fire sequence from the Civil War. This is like on the set of Gone with the Wind. Kennedy Lee was married to Laurence Olivier, and Clark Gable was married to Carol Enberg in real life. She got killed in a plane crash in 1943 with Leslie Howard. So Gone with the Wind's a long movie. There's Rebecca with Laurence Olivier and Joe Fontaine. And there's the costume she wears at the ball. But my favorite scene I like in the movie when that Juliet Anderson mate was setting the whole mansion on fire. Here's another Hitchcock film that's made for Sosnick. Spellbound with Ingmar Bergman and Gregory Peck in 1945. Leo J. Carl was behind all of this. And the shooting the gun sequence when I do it in Technicolor. And the dream sequence made by Salvador Dali. This is looks like right now in 1980. This is just a bonus article. They just cut it out. So there you have it, folks. That's my new update video for February 24th, 2023. And please try to comment, subscribe, and ring the bell if you like this video or not. And I'll see you next time when I give you more updates. Until then, your cameraman Dana Drupsky signing off, and I'll see you again next time for more updates of the things for VHSs and DVDs and books. Later, folks, and enjoy this new update video. Bye. Signing off.